Howdy, and welcome back to Celebrating Vintage Model Kits. Going to be looking at another Pyro kit. This is another one of the series of one-to-one replica firearms that they produced. This is approximately 1966, could be a little bit earlier, possibly, of the Pyro Western 44, the Colt Army Model 1860 pistol. This is kit number C200-129. The original boxing of this, original molding, is dated from 1959. So the 44 caliber Army Model 1860 was a 44 caliber single action cap and ball revolver, designed by Samuel Colt and produced by Colt's Manufacturing Company. It's made between 1860 and 1873. Approximately 200,000 pistols were produced, of which about 129,000 of them were purchased by the U.S. government. It weighed 2 pounds 11 ounces, or 1.22 kilograms for our European friends. It's 14 inches long, or 355.6 millimeters, and had an 8-inch barrel, which is 203.2 millimeters. Fired paper-wrapped 44 caliber rounds with a conical ball bullet, and later on there were some conversions that were made for it to be able to fire standard Colt 44 caliber pistol rounds, and so they had redid the cylinder on it so it could accept rounds through the back instead of being front-loaded. A couple of unique things about it, it does have a loading lever on it, so you could load it, since the cylinder was extremely difficult to take off, you could load it while the cylinder is still mounted on the gun. And the rear sight was actually a notch in the hammer that would line up when it was fully cocked. And let's see, what else? There's no top strap on it. So the way that it was kind of held together was this really massive cylinder pin that went through here that connected to the front here. Instead of a top strap, it was connected through that cylinder pin, which made it, you had to completely disassemble the gun in order to get the cylinder out. So the advantage of that was that it made for a slimmer profile and a little bit lighter weight by not having a heavy top strap on it. Let's see, I think that's about it on it. Let's take a look at our kit. So we've got this really nice artwork of the pistol itself. We've got some pretty cartoonish artwork of a gunfight in a western town here. And he's got some pretty little feet, it looks like. Just kind of, again, very cartoonish on that. But we do have the Western 44 over here in the little bit later Pyro logo. On the side here, we've got Pyro Plastics in Pyro Park, Union, New Jersey. And additional kits that were available in the series: Buccaneer, Privateer, Yorktown, Bunker Hill pistols, Kentucky Rifle, Western Saddle Gun, which is the Winchester, which I believe Atlantis is reissuing that sucker. Western 44 pistol, which is what this one is. Dueling pistol set, Civil War Navy 36 caliber pistol, the Peacemaker, which is the single action Army, the Blunderbuss, and a Mickey lock pistol. And again, same list on this side here. So not a lot of variety on this box. Here's our box end, which has a repeat of the top box art, and then our kit number, the C200-129. So 129 is the price extension for it being a $1.29 kit. Similar on this end as well. And we'll open it up, and we've got a lithograph slick that's been glued down onto a hard box lid. But interesting, we've got a soft box bottom on it here. And then here's our instruction sheet. So we've got some new artwork here of a cowboy coming up the rear end of a wagon train. Printed USA, made in USA. And Pyro's address again. On the back side, we've got the other kits available. And there's that Western saddle, which is the Winchester, and then the Kentucky rifle. And our instructions are fairly simple. Got assembling these parts here, gluing, not gluing. Not a whole lot to it. Fairly simple. But we do have a spring in here, so it looks like you can cock and fire the kit when it's finished. All right, so let's take a look at our parts here. So it's molded in kind of a gunmetal gray color. And here's one of the barrel halves, and what it looks like is they've got some kind of fake pitting being done to it. So it's got an interesting texture to it, and this fake pitting. Here's the other half. Same thing again. And then here's our lower frame, which again has that kind of fake pitting, some texturing going on there. It's our back strap. It's fairly heavy plastic. Here's the left side of the frame with some of that pitting again. And then here's our cylinder. Molded as one big heavy piece. Got little nipples for percussion caps. And it looks like this would go around. It's like there's, oh, there it is. Glue those around for the rest of the cylinder. Again, there's some texturing, fake pitting going on there. There's the front end of the cylinder. Go in there. Then here's our grips with a wood texture and some deep kind of cracking in there. Do have some sinkholes from where some pins are. Surprised these aren't molded in kind of a brown color. I know some of the other kits from this series are multicolored, but this one is just all in this gunmetal gray, so you have to paint this in a brown. But it's got a good wood texture going to it. And some of the other parts here, we've got our loading lever. Nice gears on it. Here's our front strap and trigger guard. Got a big fat old sinkhole in there. Ejector pin marks on this side. It's one half of our hammer and spur. Again, it's got some texturing on it, which is kind of cool. And some grooves cut across there, although they don't have a groove on there for the notch for aiming. And there's our trigger. Yeah, that's our trigger. And what else we got? A couple more. I think it's the ramrod part. Here is the spring, metal spring, and a few other bits and pieces that would go inside there. I think these are sprue pieces on there. So there you have it. That is your Pyro Western 44. As far as other issues go, we've got the original issue from 59, which had a little bit of a stronger yellow box cover. And then we've got this one here with the new logo, with a little bit of a lighter yellow cover. 69 went to a plain white box and just has the artwork of the pistol on it itself. And then 72, we got one from Lifelike. And 74, there was a Lifelike Hales version, which is a store in the UK. And that was kind of similar to this, but had a different artwork down below. And then 81, Entex issued it in one of their white boxes with a photo of the completed model. And it indicated on there that it had pre-colored parts. So it looks like possibly they swapped out some of these for some colored parts. And then the final issue was from Revell Seji, which is Revell in France. And they also used a photo box, and it's a really nicely done either a completed kit or they put a picture of a real 44 on the cover because it looks really nice. So that's it. Hopefully these molds are with somebody, and we'll see the light of day again at some point, possibly Atlantis. So if you've built one of these, tell us about it in the comment section. If you've got one of these built up on your shelf or hanging on your wall or is sitting in your pistol belt guarding your front door, tell us or send a picture in so we can share it with our viewers in the next viewer build video. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great rest of your day.